Aloha and mahalo for joining me. I'm Janin and welcome to the Call to Create podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I really appreciate it. And today I wanted to talk about that there's this big scary word out there in business land. Do you know what that word is? I want to ask you that. That word is marketing. And I have to admit that that word was scary for me when I had to learn about online marketing and everything that deals with that. And you know that word marketing, did you have a wave of heat wash over you when you heard that word? And maybe even your stomach did a somersault, or even worse, your heart started beating really fast. Either way, that word marketing can be scary if you've never had any experience or have tried to do any marketing for yourself or for your new or existing business. Because, we do marketing in such a different way now in this new time period. And, I'm by no means a marketing expert, that's for sure. I'm just sharing what I've done and what I know and what works well and what doesn't. And I do turn to God for guidance too, because God comes first in my life and in my business. And not to mention, God, has shown me things that I would have never thought of myself. When you have to do scary things, I would say turn to God too, because turn to God first, because that makes a really big difference, especially like when you're talking about marketing, where it is scary. I have to admit that I didn't like marketing, and I have days where, I may not even like it still, but it's something necessary for a business. And if you think about it, we as kids, when you were a child, you actually were marketing yourself. You learned marketing from way before you ever needed it. Because I talk about this in other podcast episodes too. Like, when you want something really bad and you're a kid, especially like candy, you figured out a way to get what you want. And, you may not look at it as marketing, but you had to market yourself and you had to get your point across to your parent or parents. You had to get that point of like why you needed candy, why you wanted it now, all that kind of stuff. And that's really similar to what marketing is that you're trying to get your point across, and you're trying to tell a specific person why they need that and how it can benefit them. And I find it pretty fascinating how our childhood kind of prepares us for adulthood in so many ways. And I think about this a lot more now because my kids are grown, and I do have grandchildren, and I look back at all the things that they've done and that I've gone through as a mom. These are some of the things that I like to share because I think it's funny, and I hope that you can benefit from it too. Now, in marketing, the more specific you can get, the better. And the kind of marketing I'm going to talk about today is not as scary and is word of mouth marketing, or also known as referral marketing. And this is where you start by telling the people you know about your business, like what service you have, or what kind of product or products you're selling, and who you're selling it to, and if it's specifically men or women, etc. And you go in to talk about like what some of the benefits are. And the more specific you can get, the better it is. But this is the best kind of marketing for like 4 reasons I'm going to talk about. And the first reason is that this word of mouth marketing doesn't cost you any money, especially if you're starting out in your business and you don't have a lot of money to spend on marketing, or if you don't have any money at all. And so for that reason, you're not spending a penny at all. And it's good that you can catch up with people that you know too, right? Give them a call and see how they're doing. And then, while you're doing that, you can talk about what you're doing for your business. And the second reason why this is the best kind of marketing is that you don't have to spend hours and hours a day because you're creating that ripple effect. And I've talked about this before, where, like, as an example, when you go to see a movie and you come out of the movie where you love it so much and you think, oh my goodness, I need to tell so and so about this. And you call your friend or you text your friend and you're like, hey, you need to go see this movie, and you tell them all the reasons why. And usually they can hear that excitement in your voice, and that gets them excited too to see it. And that's kind of what you want to do when you're telling someone about your new business or or whatever you're doing. You're going to get them all excited because they can hear the excitement in your voice. Well, hopefully your voice sounds exciting when you're telling someone about it. You may be nervous and all of that, but get up that excitement in your voice so that when you're saying something to someone, they feel that, because we're feeling human beings. We go for feelings all the time. That's why we do what we do. Okay, and now for the third reason why this is the best kind of marketing is that people are more likely to trust you if they were referred to you by someone they know. And please be a person that someone can trust when doing business with you too. I want to say that. Don't be somebody who doesn't live up to what you're saying that you're going to do. Like, for example, when you're telling someone about a movie that you just saw, you're going to call someone that you know and they trust you. That's why you call them. So they're more likely to trust you when you tell them, hey, this is so good because this movie, especially if it's a movie where it's about something that you stand for, that you believe in. And this person is going to trust you because they know you and they know what you're like, and they possibly may even know what you stand for. Usually our friends and family and coworkers, they usually know what we stand for and who we are. So that's a third reason. And now the fourth reason why this is the best kind of marketing is that you can get testimonials from these referrals after they do business with you. Hopefully, when you're sharing your excitement with people about your service or product, that they either want to do business with you or they want to buy what you have, and you can get a testimonial from them. And that just helps with your business, because we need testimonials for our business so that other people can see, like, hey, she is giving people results, or her product is really good, and things like that. So we need testimonials and we need referrals. And what's interesting is that all those years that I've had my business, I've never had to pay for any kind of ads for my business, because it was all word of mouth marketing. Once I did work for several people, they told people that they know, and it created that ripple effect. People started telling people about my services and what I was teaching to, and it just snowballed from there. So all those 25 plus years of having my own business where I was teaching and sewing for people, it was all word of mouth. I never ever once had to even think about paying for ads. But you never know. One day I might have to do that. I did buy a course on how to do ads online. But this is also good. Word of mouth marketing is also really good, because if you're afraid to call or verbally tell someone about your service or what you're selling, then send them a text message or send them an email, or maybe even send something in the mail. There's not a lot of people sending cute little announcements in the mail these days, because so much of what we do is online, that, or, with electronics, right, with our cell phones. Send something in the mail. People do like to get things in the mail because it's not common anymore. And many years ago, when I used to work at a sewing store, I had to help them work to put together an ad for the newspaper. And, putting ads in the newspaper or any kind of ad is still the same now. It's not any different than before. We still do have newspapers, not as much as before, but putting an ad in the paper and online is not any different. It's still the same because a lot of the work is the same because you have to figure out like who you want to market to, what are the words to use in the ads that will get people's attention and make them want to read it. And then you have to decide things like what kind of image you want to use, the colors, the font, if you have a logo, things like that. And I had to do this kind of stuff when I worked in that sewing store. We had to decide, okay, were we gonna advertise a sewing machine that was on sale, or were we gonna advertise fabric for sale, things like that. And, putting an ad in the paper or online is a lot of work. It's not something that, you can do like in 2 minutes. It does take a lot of work and time and consideration of all these little pieces that go into making this ad. And, in the beginning, you're not even really sure of all those little details. Well, most of the time, some people are, but in general, most people aren't sure of all those things about colors and font and, what they want to do and the correct words. So if you're at that place where you're not even sure of any of those things, this word of marketing is really the best way to get started, is just start telling people. And that's what I've told my clients to do, is send out a mass text message. Well, you can't do you can't do a group text message. That would be pretty annoying to everyone. But send in a text message to people and, tell them what you're doing and let them know how they can find out more about it and get in touch with you and things like that. So this is a really easy way to get your message out there and to get referrals. And it's no cost. It doesn't take very much time to just send somebody a message or an email. So try this today and let me know what happens, because I know that it's worked for me and it's worked for my clients. And you can do this and try it out and let me know. Send me a direct message on Instagram at Janet Johnston. I would love to hear what you have done. And if you have any questions about how to go about it, if you need help, let me know too. But try this. It's worked for me. And I love it because if you're afraid, this is like one way of starting where you don't have too much to worry about. Because, if nobody's interested in what you're doing, then you don't have to worry about somebody standing in front of you saying, no, I don't think so, right? Because it's just either a text message or an email. It's easier to handle if someone says no. And, we don't want to be told no, but our service or product is not for everyone. So you may get a no or two in the beginning, and that's okay. Be okay with that, because no life is perfect, and everyone has to have a no before they get to all those yeses. So do this and try this out today. And thank you for being here. And please share this podcast with anyone who you know would get great value out of listening to it, especially if you know that they're thinking about starting their own business. Or even if they're not, there's still great value that I share in each episode that can bring value to women, even if they aren't interested in starting their own business. And please rate and review this podcast. I would appreciate it. And thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. Aloha.